Hello, this is a sequel, in a sense, to both the Iranian Is Persia a Paper Tiger or Superpower vid, and also to the Fall of the Berlin Wall vid, because it's about people power, it's about civil rights, human rights, about people protesting, and also about how people have developed their own sort of intelligence structure against a oppressive regime. And the oppressive regime I'm talking about is the regime of the Ayatollahs. Now, how did this come about? That there was this, that the Iran became this theocracy. Well, Iran has two systems of government running parallel together. One is a overtly democratic system where there's multiple parties, but really the real power lies with the special religious guard, which are like Saddam's Republican Guard in a sense, but motivated by Shia religious belief, and they support the supreme leader, who is the chief religious authority in the country, and he is the real head of state. In a sense, it's almost like the British or English constitution after the Civil War, where we had the restoration of the king as the head of the church, and you had a religious, very religious population of very quite puritanical population, and some of them were with the king and some were against, because there were royalist Puritans as well. Not to get off the subject, how did this all come about? Well, this all started from the Iranian revolution, which happened in about 1980, between 1971 and 1981, and you had Ayatollah Khomeini, who was helped by the French, and because the Shah was seen as unreliable, certain other countries, I think you can guess which ones, to get back into Iran, and he was a very quiet man, a very and the media sort of portrayed him as an Islamic Gandhi, but he sort of stood at this vortex of this chaotic violence that spread out through Iran against the Shah, because the Shah was a very oppressive regime. It killed and tortured thousands of people. Now, how did the Shah get in? Well, Mosedeque was a democratically elected and pro-Western secular leader in Iran before the Shah, but he wanted to nationalise British Petroleum's oil fields, and so British Petroleum, together with MI6 and the CIA, started to say that Mosedeque was pro-communist, anti-Islamic, and they basically did a coup on him and got rid of his regime, and he ended up being imprisoned. Most of the government was executed, and then they brought the Shah in, who was the so-called King of Kings, who was descended right back from the first Persian kings like Darius, and who fought Alexander the Great and all of that, or so he claims. So this brings us up to the present day, because Ayatollah Khomeini obviously died and then passed it on to a council, who then elected a religious council, who then chose a new leader, and so Iran became the only Shia republic, just as sort of Israel is the only Jewish republic, and so all the Shia of the world look towards Iran for guidance. Now, why is that bad when it's theocracy? Well, because they support Hezbollah, which is the army of southern Lebanon. But why is it good? Well, all the Shia look to Iran, and now you're starting to see protests. Now, as I said about Leipzig and the fall of the Berlin Wall, a lot of it was just a fall of the Berlin Wall. The wall was a state of mind. The Berlin Wall was the symbol, but the state of mind had to change, and people started to make small cells of people that they knew they could trust, because just like the Stasi, the Iranians had their own secret police, their own religious police, and they patrol what they call the morals of the people. Now, you're starting to see with the advent of new technology, of the internet, of Twitter, this sort of very Persian culture being expressed rather than the Islamic culture, because there is the tension. If you've read any of Robert Bayer or Michael Schuer's books, you'll understand this. I've showed you on my other vids some, so if you check out my other vids, you will see some of their books displayed. Now, you're seeing that the population won't just take it anymore. You've had riot police, you've had the army out, they've hit people with batons, they've used tear gas, they've used water cannons, they've used live ammunition on the people, and yet the Iranians are not backing down. They're not taking it from their government anymore. They're continuing to protest, and you see it on Al Jazeera, on Russian Times, on other news channels as well. That you're really seeing a burgeoning of street democracy in Iran, and I think this is a very positive sign. Of course, I may be offending some people who are Iranian and deeply Islamic, but Iran really isn't by culture an Islamic country. That was something that was brought in by the conquering Arabs who conquered Persia, and before that, of course, it was Zarathustrianism that was the dominant religion. And of course, Iran is an Indo-European collection of nations. The 1,000 nations of the Persian Empire. You said that in the 300 Spartans and all the rest of it. But I demonise Persia a little bit. I'd like to see Persia as a Indo-European democracy with either a secular Islamic religion or a secular Zarathustrian religion as its main religion, or maybe no religion at all. And we use them as, well, we don't use them, we work with them as true partners to build a power base in the Middle East and Central Asia, together with Iran. And I think if these protests continue for a few more years, 5-10 years, it might take that long, you're going to see why widespread change in Iran. You might see the overthrow of the regime. But why has this happened? Why have people got so angry? Well, it's like I've described in my other videos. It's hierarchy. Once you get a real sense of the hierarchy of a country, then people don't like it. They want to live in equality and liberty with each other, and also have a sense of fairness, which is like the third aspect of those two things. And they really are now going for that, I think, and they're using all the technology at their disposal, and I hope for once that the other Western intelligence agencies are helping them do that, so they're moving in the right direction rather than in the direction that they took the country after Mosedeque. Well, this has been a shorter video than normal. Leave some comments and get a discussion going. Thank you. Peace.